Once a year, the Economist Intelligence Unit, short EIU, publishes the Global Livability Ranking, ranking over 100 global cities, this year 172 to be specific, based on assessments of stability, healthcare, culture and environment, education, and infrastructure. And there's one city in particular that stands out. Vienna, the world's most livable city in 2022 for the third time in the past 5 years. Crazy, I know, but what makes it so special? And where is it even located? All this and even more in today's episode. But before we start with today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, cause why not? You might have already heard of a landlocked country in South Central Europe called Austria. Not Australia, but Austria. And if you haven't, you're missing out on some beautiful places. Country of birth of many famous people like composer Wolfgang Amadeus, Mozart, psychiatrist Sigmund Freud, and a very, very famous painter who terrorized the whole world in the 20th century. And in the eastern part of it, we can find its area-wise small capital, Vienna. But despite being the smallest of the country's 9 states in area, it's the largest in population with almost 2 million inhabitants. And the city has been there for a long time, undergoing many different historical periods. Being an imperial city from 1558 to 1918, even being the seat of the Holy Roman Empire until 1806, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire's capital afterwards. From 1918, it served as capital of the Central European country that emerged as a republic from World War I. As part of Hitler's Greater Germany from 1938 to 1945, the city became Greater Vienna. But 1945 was not the end of being ruled by other authorities. No, in the decade following the Second World War, Austria, as a country, was occupied by the British, French, American, and Soviet forces, leading to Vienna being divided into 5 zones, the 5th one being an international one. Finally, in 1955, the State Treaty was signed, which led to Austria regaining its independence and making Vienna once again the capital of a now sovereign Austria. Okay, cool, Vienna is old, but what makes this small city located in Central Europe the world's most livable city of 2022? And what does it even mean to be a livable city? The EIU divides its 5 main categories into relevant subcategories to ensure that as many indicators as possible are covered. After ranking each from 1 to 100, where 100 is the best possible score and 1 the worst, a rating is produced. Here you can have a look at all the categories and its subcategories. If you want to, just pause the video here and go through them to get a better understanding of the ratings. And now the crazy part, Vienna scored a perfect 100 points in 4 of 5 categories. Culture and environment being the only where they scored lower, but still getting an impressive 96.3 points in this category. And it's no surprise either. I think we can all agree that hallmarks of a livable city are having access to green space, abundance of public spaces, efficient public transportation systems, and healthcare availability. And Vienna is an idyllic example of having green spaces. 50% of the city is covered with them, reaching from forests and parks to the Danube River. I mean, look at this. Who wouldn't want to live here? The city also regularly finds itself in the top 10 for best transportation systems in the world, which also leads to a huge impact on public health, less pollution, and more fuel efficiency. If you buy the annual season ticket, you get access to all means of public transport within Vienna for 365 days for just 365 euros. So you're basically paying just €1 a day for unlimited mobility throughout the city. And to give you an overview of its accessibility, first, there's the subway system, which has 5 lines, the U1, U2, U3, U4, and U6. And there's even a 6th one coming around the end of 2026, the U5. Together, these 5 lines make up 109 stations along 83 kilometers of track. In addition to these subways, there are 28 tram lines and 129 bus lines, as well as regional trains that run daily. Here is an overview of the overall network plan of Vienna. Quite connected. Have you ever been to Vienna? If yes, quickly let me know in the comments what you think of it, and if you reckon it deserves the title for the most livable city in the world. Another important factor of high-quality living is having a decent space to call home. Viennese apartments are known for having bright and airy rooms, but most importantly, affordable rents, which are 69% cheaper than those of New York, for example. The capital boasts a social housing system with 60% of the city's population living in subsidized flats. And finally, the city is known across the whole globe for its rich culture. In Vienna, you can just wander around the streets and enjoy the mix of past architectural eras such as Baroque townhouses, Jugendstil shopfronts, and Biedermeier villas. An example of simply stunning buildings are the three palace complexes, Hofburg, Belvedere, and Schönbrunn, where you can also find the world's oldest zoo. In the inner city, there's the famous Stephansdom, also known as St. Stephen's Cathedral, which even dates back to the 12th century. As if that's not enough, there's the giant Ringstrasse, a boulevard that encircles most of the old town. There you can find sites like the Natural History Museum, the Kunsthistorisches Museum, which is a museum of art history. Moreover, there is a state opera house, the Stadtpark, the Parliament, and the beautiful town hall where you can experience Austria's most famous Christmas market. But the city not only offers great sights, it also is the capital of classical music. Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert, for example, used to live in the capital and produce copious quantities of sheet music there. Last but not least, the food. The city has a languid cafe culture and stunning coffee houses where you can enjoy a melange and Sachertorte. Without any doubt, Vienna covers a whole range of culinary options, but the Wiener Schnitzel is for sure up there with a Kaiserschmarrn as dessert. And this is why Vienna is the most livable city.